Hi everyone. This is the text to speech for the My Data Set project. 1. Welcome to your project. Instead of a milestone task for Unit 7, you will be creating your own data collection project. In this project, you will choose your own statistical question, collect data, then do data analysis and create graphs. At the end of the project, you will create a short video summarizing all of your work. You'll be working on the project little by little every week. Here's a video of all the instructions. We will begin reading page 2. Page 2, Glossary. You'll notice that the vocabulary is on the left side, and you'll notice that the definitions are on the right side. Glossary. Box plot. Box plot is a special type of diagram showing quartiles in a box with lines, like these lines, extending to the lowest and highest values. So this goes from the lowest all the way to the highest. Center. A center is the middle of a data set. There can be several different types of centers, such as mean and median. Cluster. A cluster is when data seems to be gathered around a particular value. Distribution. A distribution is a description of the values of a data set and how spread out they are. Frequency. A frequency is how often a data point occurs in a data set. Histogram. A histogram is a graph where the data is grouped into ranges, such as 100 to 149, like here, 150 to 199, like here, and so on. And then it's plotted as bars. An interquartile range is also known as IQR. The IQR is the range between quartile 1 and quartile 3. To find the IQR, you take Q3 minus Q1. The mean. The mean is the average of the numbers. To calculate the mean, you add up all the numbers and then you divide by how many numbers there are. Median. The median is the middle of a sorted list of numbers. To find the median, place the numbers in value order and then find the middle number. Quartile. Quartile is the values that divide a list of numbers into quarters. 25% of the data is below quartile 1. 50% of the data is below quartile 2. It's the same thing as the median. 75% of the data is below quartile 3. Range. Range is the difference between the lowest and the highest values. Skewed. When data has a long tail on one side or the other so that it is not symmetrical. Here you can see a short left tail, and here you can see a long right tail. Statistical question. A statistical question is a question that can be answered by collecting data and where there will be variability in that data. Symmetrical. The left side of the graph looks the same as the right side. That's what symmetrical means. You can see here that there's a balanced left side and balanced left and right tails. Variability. Variability is the differences between data points. For example, there is a lot of variability if there are a lot of different data points. That is page 2. 3. The title is My Statistical Question. A statistical question is one that can be answered by collecting data and where there will be variability in that data. Variability means that the data will not all be the same. For example, how many M&Ms are in a pack? Oh, by the way, these are examples of statistical questions. How many M&Ms are in a pack? How fast does it take me to defeat the boss in my game? How many seconds does it take for sixth graders to recite the alphabet? How tall are the plants in my house? For this project, you will get the opportunity to collect and analyze data on a question of your choice. That means you get to choose the question. Decide what your statistical question for this project will be and write it below. My statistical question. And this is page 3. Page 4. The title is My Collected Data. You will need to collect data in order to answer your statistical question. Letter A. First, how do you plan to collect your data? What do you plan to do? Examples. I will buy 10 packs of M&Ms and count how many there are in each pack. Another example. I will time 15 of my classmates to see how fast they can recite the alphabet in seconds. Another example. I will time myself defeating the boss in my game in seconds, 15 times. Right side, letter B. Collect 7 to 20 data points in order to answer your statistical question. Fill in the chart below with your data. Make sure your data points are all whole numbers less than 100. And there's your space to write all of your data. That's the end of page 4. Page 5. The title is My Histogram. A histogram is a graph where the data is grouped into ranges, such as 10 to 14, 15 to 19, and so on, and then plotted as bars showing how many points exist in each range. Using your data, create a histogram for your data set. Your data, if you did the previous pages, your data will show up here. And then here's where you do your histogram. That's page 5. Page 6. The title is My Distribution Description. On the left side, your data will be here. And on the bottom left is, I believe, your histogram. Yes, your histogram. Right side, using your data set and your histogram, which is reproduced on the left side, write a description of at least 3 sentences about the distribution of your data set. So you'll be writing a description. Use at least 3 vocabulary words from the glossary on page 2. Some sentence starters that can help you write this description are: the distribution is symmetrical or is not symmetrical because there is a peak of points around ... That is page 6. Page 7. The title is My Measures of Center and Variability. Your data, if you typed it, is on the left side. And on the bottom here is your workspace, and you have 2 workspaces if you need it. Using your data set and the glossary on page 2, answer the questions below. Use the calculator at the top of the page if needed, and that calculator is here. Round to the nearest whole number. Letter A. How many data points do you have in total? Letter B. What is your lowest data point? Letter C. What is your highest data point? Letter D. What is the range of your data? Letter E. What is the median of your data? Letter F. What is the mean of your data? Letter G. How did you figure out your range, median, and mean? Some sentence starters you can use are, I found my range by, I found my median by, and I found my mean by. That is page 8, my quartiles. If you did your data on the previous, I think it was page 2. If you did your data on page 2, your data will show up here. Here's a picture example of quartiles. This is where your first quartile is. This is where your second quartile is. This is where your third quartile is. Here's your workspace if you need it. And on the right side, it says, using your data set and the glossary on page 2, answer the questions below. Use the calculator at the top of the page if needed. Round to the nearest whole number. Letter A, what is the first quartile of your data? Letter B, what is the second quartile, or Q2, of your data? Letter C, what is the third quartile, or Q3, of your data? Letter D, how did you figure out your quartiles? Here's some sentence starters to help you. To find my blank quartile, I, ... First I, ... then I, ... Letter E, what is your interquartile range, or IQR? And that is page 8. The title is My Box and Whisker Plot. Using the measures you calculated below, create a box plot for your data set. Move the points on the box plot, just like this, in order to match your measures. And I believe here you'll have some, as you move this, I think the numbers will change. Or I think you have your numbers here from the previous pages. So if you did the previous pages, your numbers will show up here. And that is page 9. This is page 10, and the title of this is Summary. On the summary, you'll have, if you did the other stuff from the previous pages, your information will show up here. For example, your statistical question will show up here. Your data will show up here. Your range, median, mean, quartiles, including quartile 1, Q1, quartile 2, or Q2, quartile 3, or Q3, and your interquartile range, or your IQR, and your My Box plot. All of this will show up here. And then over here, your histogram will show up, and your distribution description will show up here. And that is page 10. Last page, page 11. Title is Making the Video. These are resources to help you with your video. Do you need to remember some WeVideo skills? Here's the Desmos for that, and remember to click the correct one for your class. If you need the rubric storyboard and screenshots, you can click one of these links for your class. The rubric tells you what you need for the video. The storyboard is something you can use if you want to write a script for your video. If you need help with screenshots, that link above will help you. And if you want to look at Pat Malone's basketball data project video, you can click below. And that's it for page 11, and that's it for this video.